Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How are you?
Great.
Good, good. We're going to need everyone to come a little bit closer, but I think you guys are going to do all right. All right? Hi, everyone. My name is George Chip Greenidge. I am president of the Greatest Minds Society and also president of Triathlon Club. And today we're going to bring a forum together called Swimming While Black. And the reason why we wanted to do this forum was to really talk about the issues and the many different complications around black people in swimming. I run the Triathlon Club at Georgia State, and it's interesting when I try to get more students that are black and Latino to join the club, they go, I don't know how to swim. And you kind of got to unpack those kind of different issues of why we don't know how to swim or what were the issues around that. So today is a forum about that, to really dive down, I'm using the word dive down, and really understand the phenomenon behind this. We have several guest speakers, we have several swimmers. We also have the outstanding and fabulous Miss Mimi Jones from Boston. Give it up for Miss Mimi Jones, everybody. Who jumped on a plane, a train, and all that, and managed to get here through the highway craziness. And we're so glad to have you today. And also we have some local Atlanta swimmers that are actually going to be joining us on the panel. Hi, y'all. Okay. And I also want to just thank a lot of people that helped this, the sociology department, the African American Studies Department, the Center of Metropolitan and City Studies, I think, Neighborhood Studies, and also Student Government Association.
I guess I just want to thank Eric Wright, Dr. Eric Wright, who's the chair of the Sociology Department, for helping sponsor this. And I'm really excited about this. I actually didn't even know about these issues until George pointed them out to me. So anyway, without further ado, let's get on with the program.
I know this face, and it was about the legacy of St. Augustine's. And your son hit me up on Facebook. He said, "You know that's my mom, right?" And I couldn't believe it. All these years, but I knew from the passion of the work that you do in Boston. We're both from Boston, Massachusetts. All the work you do for the young people in the community, it just all continue to make sense. So I thank you for coming on down here. Give it up. You came all the way from Boston to be with us today.
Well, I thank you so much for inviting me. And it is so good to be here with all of you. I am originally from Southwest Georgia, Albany, Georgia. And I went to New England to go to college and married a guy from Cambridge, where Chip is from, and so our son was born there. So I'm a New England Boston transplant, but my heart and my soul is right here in the red clay of Georgia. I grew up, well, first of all, I learned to swim when I was probably about 8 or 9 or 10. And I learned to swim in what we called a creek because my older sisters and brothers could swim. And so when the family had an outing, we'd, have a picnic and, I learned to swim. And you probably know that youth, and when I say youth, I'm talking 13, 14, 15, junior high, high school kids, we were very much on the front line of the civil rights movement. And the Albany movement, when Dr. King came to Albany and we were fighting for dignity and equal treatment and desegregation, I was about 13 or 14. I think that was when I first met Dr. King. So we were part of the marches. We went to jail even at 13 or 14 and 15. And the minister of our church, Reverend Wells, who was one of Dr. King's lieutenants, if you will, went to jail many times. And so during the St. Augustine campaign, they invited Dr. King. The local people had been fighting the fight for, since time immemorial. And they invited Dr. King to come in the summer of '64. So a busload of us, including my minister, Reverend Wells, went to St. Augustine to support that campaign. And many of us were high school students. I was a high school student myself. A couple of teachers, a couple of college students. And in that pool, when you said that there were 3 colored girls or ladies, there were actually 2 of us. It was myself and another. She was a college student at Albany State College. And when they decided to do, and when we got there, the local people of St. Augustine were battling that battle. And so when we got there, the slave market, we marched in the streets at night from the church in Lincolnville, where it was a black community, to the slave market. And by the way, the slave market is still there today, and it should be there because it really should remind us, of what it has been. And so we would have night marches from the slave market to the church in Lincolnville, and everything, you gotta understand that everything that the civil rights movement did was strategic. I mean, we weren't just marching and singing and what have you. Everything was very strategic. So, you saw on the film where Dr. King, is that okay? Where Dr. King, and yes, that's better, tried to have breakfast at the Matsumoto Lodge, and they refused him and his company. That same day, and this was all strategic and all planned, there were several rabbis that had come down to support the campaign. And if you notice, they distracted Brock, the Matsumoto Lodge owner. And so while the rabbis distracted him, we dove into the pool. Now they had asked several of us, who could swim? And I said, of course I could swim. And I got a bathing suit from someone, and the other student from Albany State College, and of course the young J.T. Johnson that was speaking with the gray hair was a lifeguard in Albany, and there were 2 other males from Albany, and Al Lingo, the white guy who had come down, checked into the Matsumoto Lodge as a guest. So we were actually his guests. We should have been legally his guests. So we were going swimming as his guests. And so we were in the pool for a short while. And I was facing the edge of the pool for a minute or 2. And I didn't see him coming. And suddenly I couldn't breathe. The water started to bubble up as if it were a volcanic eruption. And I didn't realize that was muriatic acid that he was pouring into the pool. Luckily, it didn't hit my face, just a few drops hit here, and he kept going around the pool pouring this muriatic acid in the pool. And then we realized, he's really crazy. And then a short while later, I looked up, and this fully clothed policeman dove into the pool. You probably saw that. And they arrested us. They did not arrest the terrorist who was pouring muriatic acid in the pool on us. They arrested all of us and carted us off to jail. Now mind you, I was 16, going on 17, and I will just share with you what my arrest record, what I was charged with, all of the stuff that I was charged with. And of course, you can get any of this information through the Freedom of Information Act. I was charged with deliberate trespassing, deliberate disturb of the peace, malicious trespassing, and conspiracy. Okay? 16, I'm 17 years old. Luckily, it hasn't affected my personal or professional life. But that isn't, I have a copy of my arrest record. So we went to jail, and I believe we were bonded out maybe a couple of days later, and as soon as we got out, We continued with the marches and supporting the people of St. Augustine. And the beach incident, you saw where there was a white side of the beach and a black side of the beach. Black people were not allowed to go to the white side of the beach, and every day we'd go to the white side of the beach. And one day, and first of all, the press was there from all over the world. And they hated the press because they didn't want to be exposed. And they referred to ABC as the African Broadcasting Company, CBS as the Colored Broadcasting Company, and NBC, the Negro Broadcasting Company, because they hated the media because the media was exposing them, okay? So there was a Danish photographer when we were on the beach, and he was talking with us, and he had a camera. His camera was metal, and I looked up, and there was a mob of Klansmen coming toward us with billy clubs and whatever else. But what they wanted to do is to get to that Danish photographer because they did not want him taking any pictures of all of their violence and vile actions. And he was trying to protect, those of us that were teenagers. So I got behind him, and they got to him first, and they smashed his camera into his face. And all I saw was blood, and he was wearing glasses, and they pummeled him. And I don't know where they came from, but somehow, I think they had deputized the state troopers, but somehow they came in and they got us out of there before they got to those of us that were there to enjoy whatever side of the beach we should have been able to enjoy. This is very visceral with me, and each time I see this footage, it's almost as if it's yesterday. I've been back to St. Augustine once, went back a couple of years ago, since that time, with a filmmaker who's done another brilliant film that's called The Passage at St. Augustine. And I flew back from Boston with him and another photojournalist. And I went back to the Mansamola Lodge. It is no longer the Mansamola Lodge, it is now some kind of Hilton. They've raised the pool, and it's a different hotel, whatever it is, motel now. And the manager there greeted us, and he knew while we were there, we were filming, and we told him the story. And he was very accommodating. He said, well, you and your husband and your son, you should, whenever you want to come back to St. Augustine, you can come and, you can stay here. And so I just had one request of him. The pool is still there, but it's raised. And I said to him, I just want to put my feet in this pool and not have acid poured on me. And that's what I did. And then I went to the slave market to meet a local woman who was a part of this campaign. And the local community has developed what is called a foot soldiers monument. And it is right in front of the slave market. And the monument is of a white male, a black male, a black female, and a young person. Because young people, we were very much on the front line of all of the civil rights struggle. And so we stood in front of the Foot Soldiers Monument, and we chatted and talked about that summer of 1964. And she said, so I said to her, we stood here as foot soldiers because and I pointed to the slave market, because they stood there. That's my story.
I never became a competitive swimmer until I entered the sport of triathlon. One of the things about triathlon when I began was the demographic study. 0.5% of all triathletes are of color. That's not just African American, that's just of color. So as you can see, I'm covered in going to races. Not only was I usually the only African American there, to this day, I've never raced against another Muslim woman. So I guess my perspective is a little bit different, a little bit added on. I belong to an organization called BTA, Black Triathletes Association, and one of the things that we do is not only promote swimming, but the sport of triathlon amongst African Americans and people of color. So that's kind of my story. Most of the people who start, African Americans who start the sport of triathlon, the swim is their huge anxiety.
Yes.
One of the things that I do is talk to them about my experience as a swimmer, and just to not be afraid. There's people out there to help you, take your time, and it's okay not to be great at it. Like I said, I'm a recreational swimmer. I was never the fastest swimmer, but I wasn't afraid. So that's the thing, just to get over your fear, to go out there, and it's okay to be the first. It's okay to not have a group of your friends out there or someone who looks like you. Sometimes you have to be the first one to go out there. Swimming and triathlon, great sport. It's a sport you can do till the day that you die. My father is 68 years old, and to this day, he swims, I'd say 2 to 3 miles a day. He lives in a place called Pawleys Island in South Carolina. He swims, I don't know if you're familiar with the area, but he swims from a place called Pawleys Island and Muriel's Inlet every day. And to this day, I can't catch him. He always pulls away that last mile. So it's a great sport. It opens up a lot of opportunities to meet people who maybe don't look like you. One of the things that I love about the sport of triathlon is it opens up dialogue. Many of the people that I race with have never met a Muslim woman, have had limited exposure, even in this day and age, to African Americans. So it opens up dialogue, and it's a great opportunity to meet people and for them to meet you and recognize that we're more the same than different.
Very nice. Very nice. And I just want to say, I put this on Facebook to the National Black Triathlon Association. I said, hey folks, I need some help. And I just want to thank you, both of you, for just saying, hey, I wanted to come down and share my experiences. So please give it up for both of those young women, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Gabrielle Arrington. I'm actually a proud alum of Georgia State, class of 2012. So that's good to be back.
Look at that.
Dr. Ogie actually took your class. I'm new to the sport. I'm actually completing my first triathlon in about 2 weeks. I went through a training program that was about 18 weeks back in DC where I live now. One of my areas of anxiety was definitely the swimming and the distance swim in particular. I hadn't taken lessons since about 7 or 8 years old, and was very lucky my parents put me in a community kind of swim program back then. But just want to say I didn't really envision myself swimming competitively or being involved in triathlons until I saw other Black people and frankly people of color doing it. And when I went to DC and I started participating in running groups and meeting other triathletes that had done triathlons and Ironmans and the like, was just really inspired. Got a lot of support from the Black Triathlon Association as well, met people for lunch just talking to them about the sport and learning more about it. And that's how I became involved as well. I just want to say, this is something that you really want to do or that you're interested in. Don't be intimidated by it. Don't be intimidated by, the length of the swim or not knowing the technique. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the best. Just get into it and you'll get the support that you need. So thank you.
Can you quickly talk about your parents in swimming and your brothers and sisters and so forth?
Oh my goodness. I don't remember my parents really swimming that much. Both my parents are from Montgomery, Alabama, so of course they are just during the civil rights movement. I think they definitely noted the importance of knowing how to swim, and I'm so glad that they put me and my brother in lessons at a community pool that was not too far from our house. But I don't think they necessarily knew how to swim very well.
Thank you. Okay.
So may I just make a couple of
Yep,
comments?
go ahead.
And I won't speak long. I think that even beyond the swimming and the recreational, the enjoyment of it, water safety is important, okay? Our son is now 31, and I had him in the pool when he was less than 3, okay? At the Y, and the parents have to be in with you, so this kid has been swimming since he was 3 or 4, okay? And I always say, if you find yourself, you can scull all day. Learn the right rhythmic breathing. You don't have to have the greatest strokes in the world, but water safety is as important as the joy of swimming. I even trained as a lifeguard. When I was in college, I said, I want a part-time job in the summer. So I trained as a lifeguard, but I never took the job. I took a different job in the summer. And then I also did some synchronized swimming with 2 or 3 other people. But you have to have certain skills in order to do the synchronized. But there's so many wonderful things that you can do in the water.